what do we know for sure about estrogen and the heart?
We know that when a woman is in her prime and has the highest levels of estrogen, she has the lowest risk of heart disease. And that's why postmenopausal is when stroke and heart disease starts to be the number one killer now for women over men because their estrogen has tanked.
We also know that women who go into early menopause are at much greater risk of heart disease in their later life than women who go later. We also know that women who get their ovaries removed and have a complete surgical menopause are at greater risk for heart disease. So we know all those things. What does estrogen do to protect our hearts? Well, it's the nitric oxide, just like it protects our skin. So when
our brain.
Yeah. So when we lose estrogen, we lose that wonderful nitric oxide, which is a deliverer of oxygen to our cells.
This is the Poddy with Serene
And Pearl.
Get it right, Poddy.
What's up, mostly women? It's the Trim Healthy Podcast, and we appreciate you guys listening in too, though I doubt your attendance each and every week. I would like to know how many guys are listening. If you're listening or watching, but if you're listening, go over to YouTube and please comment male. Comment the word male, M-A-L-E, and you'll be counted. Women, how are you?
We women, we're good. Well, we were just told by Mr. Nate here that last potty, we do 2 potties in a day, was so focused and we didn't banter and he was so proud of us. And so we decided to sharpen our banter knives.
Yeah, no, I feel rebellion rising.
Yeah. I have a conspiracy theory. Nate, this room is filled with gnats. Nate's gnats.
We do this. I have a
do
pet
you
gnat
bring
that
gnats
loves
in,
me.
Nate?
He brought them in so that we'd focus.
I've got one here.
I always thought Nate was on the, hey, you guys are naturals on the potty. I love your banter, but come to find out the truth is he hates our banter.
Deep down, he wants a focused.
Whose phone is that? That's Nate's phone.
That's Nate's natty phone.
He's trying to sabotage this right here, which is banter.
Nate's annoying gnats.
Actually, I don't think he realized we bantered a lot last week. Remember, we got off on the subject of
cinematic movies.
Let's
not
and
return.
HD screens and all of that stuff.
He was giving us a compliment. Guess what? It was like my husband. We took it all wrong. When my husband says to me, and I decide, you look really nice today.
I can't even tell you that either.
I hear is the today. There's no you look nice. There's none of that. It's just today. Meaning
yesterday was bad.
Meaning every other day I look ugly.
Women are neurotic.
So we, even you,
neurotic,
took Nate's compliment, which was, guys, you did so great today. There was very little banter.
Yeah.
And we
I
were
was so
like,
proud of
every
you.
other time, we were banterers.
I did. I pumped my estrogen when I heard that. And I was like, what you mean is, it's like, why can't I just take a compliment from a man? I can't. It can't.
You
be
got
done.
estrogen up, and we just all threw it, man.
Next, my period's gonna sink.
Okay.
Men don't have periods, but Lisa says that sometimes I get on my man
They
period.
get periods. Oh yeah, they do.
What's that about? Is that can you explain that hormonally?
It's just if you're in a bad mood, you're on your myriad. That's okay.
Yeah, but
just live with it.
But
I
see,
thought
when
they
you're
mirror owls, you see.
Yeah, but you have a bad
We're
week.
in a bad mood. And
I
they
don't
get
have
bad.
periods, so
But when you have periods, you have a bad week called your period, and even your children are like, "Mom's on her period."
Yeah, it's true.
But men don't. Are men more stable? What is it?
Well, I think they're more stable. I do.
Like chemically?
I reckon. I don't. Yeah, I'm not trying to say I'm always stable.
I'm definitely not always stable.
It's not my claim to fame.
You're not known for stability. Hey, can we put that on a coffee mug? Not known for stability.
Hey,
Like a picture of your face on one side. Not known for
But
stability.
husbands are known for stability. I think for the most part. I don't think women are.
I feel very stable.
stereotypically.
Oh, when you came in your wife's bathrobe that was couple of years.
What was that?
Those were the old days.
Discounting those years.
Aside from the first 35 years of my life, I'm now very stable. I am. I'm
Does
quite
Lisa
stable.
find you stable?
Trim Healthy Mama, product news and notes.
Collagen has been a part of Trim Healthy Mama for a long time.
Yeah, we still remember, Serene, when we discovered what an amazing added supplement it was for hair, skin, nails, gut.
Metabolism.
Yeah.
It seems just like yesterday that the collagen in your coffee became the in thing for mamas. We're not going to say goodbye to that anytime soon.
I think Trim Healthy was one of the first brands to bring collagen to the main market.
Well, listen, we're not going to say goodbye to collagen in the coffee, but we are going to press higher. We're going to contend for more, seeking the very best for ourselves and our families and keeping you, our Trim Healthy community, in mind. We have been working on something very exciting, and we're going to introduce to you optimized collagen. It is a complete protein, which it wasn't before, and now it is.
But it still does all the amazing things that regular collagen does, but it takes it this one important step further. It's going to nourish your lean body mass.
That is new. Because before, collagen was the beauty protein. Did all those things like Pearl said, but it didn't stimulate muscle synthesis. But now it does.
I do want to say, and I do want to do a big expose. Okay, we learn as we go. But Serene, you and I, we knew it was a protein helper. We knew it wasn't complete. What we didn't understand, and most people still don't, that it couldn't stand alone as protein. So we were putting it in our coffee just like everyone else, thinking, oh, I've got my protein. You have a protein helper. You don't have your protein.
And now, optimized collagen has all the EAAs, that's essential amino acids. Before it didn't. So it was lacking. So it couldn't stimulate the muscle synthesis. But now it's a lean body mass fueling powerhouse.
Why are we so nerdy and caring about having it stimulate lean body mass as well as doing the other things? Why?
Because we want our bodies to be burning bodies. And they can't be burning bodies unless we build lean, clean muscle tissue.
And if we don't get that complete protein, our muscles absolutely catabolize. Aside from the missing amino acids.
Let's say those missing ones first. Well, tryptophan. But we've also added a little more of some that weren't very robust, like lutein. And we need a robust bolus of lutein because remember, that is the trigger for muscle synthesis.
But we've also added L-alanine, L-glutamine. It's a long name, but this substance is incredible.
It'll make your muscles sing. Why, Pearl?
Well, it hydrates you.
That's right. A hydrated muscle is a good-looking muscle.
Yeah, and actually you feel hydrated too. Many of us try to drink water all day long. I get in my water intake, but sometimes we just cellularly dehydrated.
Hey, listen, go over to trimhealthymama.com and add this to your protein routine because you're going to love it, just like we do.
Hey, you're listening to The Poddy with Serene and Pearl, and I'm Pearl, and who are you?
Serene.
Does Lisa find me stable? I think that in the end, she will look back and she'll say, he was stable.
Would that be
Yeah,
on
on
your
a whole,
tombstone? Mostly stable.
Mostly stable will be on my tombstone.
What do you think about your man, just so we can keep bantering, just to really prove our point?
Just to
what
tell
do I
Nate
think
to
about
I
it?
think of
Take
him
a
as
hike.
stable, able.
What about when he got the spray paint out? When people kept
people
taking his
can have
tools, and he did. You've seen the What About Bob movie, right?
Yeah.
Remember when Dr.
Dr.
Leo
Leo
Marvin goes nuts at the end? Well, Sam did do that one day.
Oh, we'll have to explain it.
Don't. Just leave it there. My
did
husband
lose
is
his
mostly
marbles.
stable, I would say. Hey, we got a topic
I have
today.
to explain it.
No, you
I can
don't, because
explain
he
it in 10
doesn't listen.
seconds.
He doesn't.
No, for the world. Now you've said that he's not stable.
Just one day.
He's a guy that loves to do a project on the weekend with his tools, right? He loves to, and he's so busy. So all week he buys the tools, and on the weekend he goes to do the project. For 10 years straight,
Fun.
he would buy the tools every week, and he'd go to the weekend and go to his tool shed and find that the Hilltop people at large has used him as a tool library.
Yeah.
I will borrow and I will return, but what do we do to libraries? We really lose the
Yeah.
books and steal the books.
We do.
I know this because I'm
Yeah.
confiscated from I'm not allowed to enter libraries.
Yeah.
Like literally.
Yeah.
Okay,
Do-
that's
do
a
you
whole nother story for
Rumor
another
has it
day.
you still have hundreds of thousands of dollars in late fees
I do.
from the Franklin Public
If
Library.
a policeman was coming down my road,
Yeah.
library fines would be the first thing that would pop up into
It's on
my
your
head.
record, actually.
Oh,
too.
Oh, Pearl, she
Yeah.
remembers moments of me
Yes.
crying because they won't let me return to the library. This is way back when. You know.
You were banned from the library.
$80
Oh, yeah,
fine, so
totally
you can't
banned.
walk in the door. You have an $80 fine.
Like some people can't go in Walmart because they're unruly and they steal.
Okay, back to my husband. I'm clearing up his name, people. So this went on for a decade, and he coolly, like a stable man, was like, okay, my tools are stolen again. Take a deep breath. Let's move on. That's what a stable man does. Well, after a decade of this, he went out for a particular project. This was Saturday morning. This is going to be a great
Yep.
weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Just because it hasn't been there any other weekend, I'm going to believe that they're there. He went to look for his tools. They weren't there. He started cackling. And he never looked so happy in his life, but it was a manic, weird cackle. He got spray paint, and he started spray painting over his own house, the outside of it. But it was the outside of the tool part because we have a garage with a tool door. And he was spray painting, "Hey, you," just the letter U. Call me before you take my tools. And he spray painted his own phone number there and everything. And then he was cackling and punching his fists into the wall. And then he took a picture with another big, very loud cackle and sent it to all of the people that he thinks comes and takes his tools. And he was like, pressing send.
What was
send.
the punch
And
for?
I told him, please, darling, I know you look. He's like, I'm not mad. And he was laughing. But I said, I know you look not mad, but you look a little like you've
Kinda
lost your marbles.
psycho
And I
mad.
said, this is our house. I will have to stare at this for the next
And
7
you
years.
did. You started
He's
it
like,
for a
no,
year.
we'll finish. We will finish it. I will repaint it because we're going to redo the outside of our house. No, I'm still seeing Hey You.
Oh,
And
is it
our
still
phone number.
there?
It's still there.
It's still
I'll
there.
take a picture and we'll put it up on the Poddy, whatever.
that's
I need
Good.
to see this.
But for the most part, he's stable.
Hey, Nate, how are we doing on the banter score? Nate's
He's giving
mad
us
at
a snub.
Give us an F+.
Yeah.
Got a question that came in, and this is a really good question, and it's from Anonymous. And
Yeah, right. Whenever it's from Anonymous, you're
Pearl's
Dan and
protecting
made it
her.
up.
be kind to Anonymous. No, this is a real question that came into our actual Zen desk where tickets
my
come
my
in.
pet flea keeps, or whatever
It's
it
a
was.
gnat.
Yeah.
I
Gnat
don't want
keeps
to.
landing
No,
on
Simon
me.
was just whispering.
I really love us three
If we
today.
had to keep doing
I
this,
really
don't think we have problems.
Yeah, we're
like
not
we're getting
twitching.
twitches.
People might
we're getting
hate
twitches
this
from the peptides and the
podcast.
bioidentical hormones. You know? No, it's the
We're
gnats.
all juiced up. Y'all juiced up post-menopause.
I'm not even posty, by the way, just to clarify.
You're mid.
No, I don't know what I am. I won't know.
yeah.
You
'Cause
won't
I
know.
just jumped onto the train and, that it'll keep me.
But we've got a question. You just
Okay.
messed up your bangs.
the gnat messed it up.
We've got a question about hormones today.
Nate's
And it
gnats.
says, do you or any of your guest speakers address bioidentical hormones linked to heart issues or calcification of arteries? I hear a great deal from you all about dispelling the myths about cancer, not so much about the heart. Could you please explain?
Oh, we would love to explain
So-
in great detail.
Yeah. No, I would love to address this, and it's a really good question, Anonymous. Thank you for bringing it. There are a lot of myths about it. There are actually a lot of opinions that don't match up about this, even between cutting-edge hormone specialists. So
And
today,
there are safer ways to take it if you have heart
Yeah.
issues if you're a certain age, and you'll
Yeah.
go into all of that, correct?
yeah. So what do we know for sure about estrogen and the heart?
We know that when a woman is in her prime and has the highest levels of estrogen, she has the lowest risk of heart disease. And that's why postmenopausal is when stroke and heart disease starts to be the number one killer now for women over men because their estrogen has tanked.
So we do know that. We also know that women who go into early menopause are at much greater risk of heart disease in their later life than women who go later. We also know that women who get their ovaries removed and have a complete surgical menopause are at greater risk for heart disease. So we know all those things. What does estrogen do to protect our hearts? Well, it's the nitric oxide, just like it protects our skin. So when
And our
we-
brain.
Yeah. So when we lose estrogen, we lose that wonderful nitric oxide, which is a deliverer of oxygen to our cells, to our hearts, and it keeps the blood vessels running very beautifully.
For Nate, I need to do a little banter that's helpful. Helpful banter. Nitric oxide, number one way outside of your depleted estrogen or whatever. Fluoride toothpaste
Oh, she's gone.
and antimicrobial mouthwash. destroys the natural bacteria in the mouth that are responsible turning the natural nitrites into
Nitric oxide into
the nitrates that come in the food and turn it into nitric oxide.
So what do you brush
with? It is done in the mouth. It is done in the mouth. Okay, I just do fluoride-free toothpaste.
Oh.
Good old,
They sell it at
fluoride-free.
Walmart.
There's
Tom's.
a billion. There's a bunch of different brands. I think I'm on Dr. Brommer's.
You just got to use half a tube. Do you use baking soda?
No, you don't have to use half a tube. It's these days. It's
They got
the
it
best
now?
stuff in the world.
Does Native
But
make a
listen,
toothpaste?
but don't do, especially the mouthwash. They have done studies
Okay.
that in hospitals, when they started using mouthwash on some of their patients, that they noticed the mortality rate skyrocketed, especially in the wards that they were treated for heart issues and stuff, because the nitric oxide, the ability for the body to produce nitric oxide, went incredibly plummeted.
Interesting.
So, and especially men as they age, right? So they're
High blood pressure.
nitric oxide. They need nitric oxide for erection quality, and when that goes down, many men facing ED are using fluoride or mouthwashes and just making things worse. But go back to women for a sec. So when women lose their estrogen, we'll talk about replacing it safely soon. But some of the worst things a woman can do, like Serene said, just to make the matter worse, is to use these things that destroy that conversion in the mouth. So we don't want to do that.
So take beets all day, which are incredible for nitric oxide. And if you're taking mouthwash or fluoride toothpaste, you're not converting it
Okay.
into nitric oxide.
We maybe say not, but a big percentage is not converted. Yes.
Pause. Mouthwash causes ED.
Well,
I don't know if you can say it like that, but there's a big
Eventually,
connection association.
It'll lower it over time, and there's a big association, especially when you're older and you've got so much tanking of it anyway. Like tanking of your hormones and things that would, and also just your exercise and other things that would produce nitric oxide. Maybe you're not.
So
doing.
it's not okay. Beep, 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 beep. So, nitric oxide is good. You want it.
Oh, I take a supplement of it every day.
Okay. And there are foods / chemicals that hinder or harm nitric oxide
Or boost it.
or boost it.
Yes.
And mouthwash is one of the ones that lowers it.
And fluoride.
If it
And
contains
fluoride.
certain substances.
Well, if it says that it's an antimicrobial, antibacterial mouthwash, it's getting rid of the
Okay.
bacteria. It's killing off the bacteria that are responsible for converting.
See, this
your
whole
foods
world
into
has gone
nitric
crazy with the antibacterial soaps and antibacterial for the mouth and all of that. We need our good bacteria, and when they're fighting certain ones, they're killing out the good with the bad. And so now they're realizing, for the long time it was like, wash with antibacterial soap. Now they're saying, no, don't wash with antibacterial
it's like
soap.
washing with
regular soap, please.
It's like washing with
okay.
antibiotic cream,
Yeah.
like giving yourself a colonic with antibiotics.
So I'm trying to get the soundbite though. Like antibacterial products cause ED.
No, we're just talking about the oral microbiome. They're coming to find out is just as important now as the gut microbiome.
Okay.
And they're realizing wherever there's a microbiome, it is super important.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Don't
usually
wipe it
there's
out.
reasons for those bacteria. The reasons for the bacteria in the mouth, one of the major ones is it converts the nitrites in the food into nitric oxide.
Okay.
And that's powerful. And when you take that conversion away,
Yes.
your nitric oxide production is plummeted.
So why are beets so good for the heart? You take a beet supplement, a
Arugula,
powder, or
beets
dark
and
greens.
dark
Why are they
cocoa.
good? So they're good for that. What are they doing? They're raising this nitric oxide level in the body, and that is very helpful to the heart. So is estrogen, but estrogen's more powerful. So a young woman, unless she has a genetic situation where she's got a heart problem or something, is extremely protected because of estrogen. Then as she gets into perimenopause, estrogen starts trickling away. It's still there enough to have periods, but it's going down. Then in menopause, it goes down to below what most men have at the same age.
I mean, we hear it. We know friends. Heart disease becomes a major problem and a killer. Mm-hmm. I mean, I have a very, very beautiful friend of mine who died of an instant stroke, postmenopausal, just...
So women catch up to men. Men have more heart disease than women on the whole. They have less estrogen on the whole. Then in their 50s, most women reach about that same amount as men, and then they go below. Like when you look at a postmenopausal woman's estrogen, it is usually well below 20. Now men in the same age have like between 30 to 40. Sometimes younger men have actually less estrogen, but then older men, they get a little more. They're about 30 to 40 naturally when you test them.
Some can be around
Whereas
60.
some women have 2 or 3 levels of estrogen. When I tested mine, I was a 3 postmenopausal. That's dangerous for my heart.
Yeah.
Right? That gives rise to now.
Even at your age, or is that?
Well, I
dangerous
do
for
all the
older
things.
women?
No. Even at my age. So the earlier you go into menopause and you
The longer
lower that
without
estrogen,
protection.
you are actually giving rise to
Days are falling off. your
Now
life.
there is a point, and there's only one part where you could say so bioidentical estrogen protects then because it's putting back that covering and protection.
But I'm not ready yet to go into what you're going to say.
Okay.
That comes later. So, of course, we're going to talk about replacing hormones, but not everybody can, of course, and we'll talk about how to do that. But the things we do, the things we eat, they do have a big impact. So, Danny, exercise raises that nitric oxide.
But going back, we have to go back to the last potty when we said... in the beginning, we said the opposite. We're like the things we do, and these myo-inositol, and these, people say, you take these certain seeds at the different types of cycles because it will help. We're not being contradictory to what we're saying. We're not.
No, but the things we do to our body. So
Yes.
if I'm not saying a certain food will raise my estrogen. I'm saying a certain thing I do, like exercise, will keep nitric oxide flowing
Yes,
better.
exactly.
I'm talking about lifestyle and not eating inflammatory foods. All those things have an impact. They don't raise my estrogen back up, but they keep me healthier.
keep
so
it
that
longer.
if I didn't replace my estrogen, I'd have much better odds.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm much less likely to have heart disease if let's say I don't replace estrogen and I exercise and I eat really health boosting foods.
You're
much
not going
less
to have
likely.
the estrogen protection.
No.
That's gone. But you will at least say, hey, I've got this lean body mass that's
I've
going to
got
be able
muscle.
that's going to be able to not allow for blood sugar spiking, inflammatory cortisol, stress happening to my body. And so you've got that protection. You've got more nitric oxide because you've got muscles more available to power you through a proper workout that actually going to bring that incredible circulation. And so you're going to have those protections, but not ever estrogen protection again.
So there's lifestyle
the most
factors, and we
powerful.
always want to raise them up and give them the applause they need. But I want to go back to Anonymous's question, which was, about heart disease. There are a lot of myths out there and a lot of actual unknowns. But the biggest study came from the WHI study in 2002, which was found out to be flawed. But that study showed that women who were on estrogen only, and this was a horse estrogen, people. It wasn't
Premarin.
bioidentical. If a woman started within a 10-year window of her menopause, she had a 40% less chance of heart disease.
Yeah.
So she was 40% more protected because she was younger. Arterial plaque hadn't started yet. Then they found out that woman did a full HRT, which is not only the horse estrogen, but also the synthetic progesterone, which is the most dangerous and problematic of all of that. And we would say, never do that.
Right.
But that's what was used.
Yeah.
There was
So it doesn't prove anything for bioidentical
there was
hormones.
a slight higher risk of heart disease. In the end, it was barely substantial.
Right.
But they found out that it was from the synthetic progesterone, not even the horse estrogen.
Right.
Over the years, they've done other studies as well, but they term them HRT studies. They have used bioidentical estrogen, but most of them have still used the synthetic progesterone.
Which has come to be the main reason. Which it was because alone, even the synthetic estrogen alone actually provided protection.
Yes.
It was the addition of a synthetic progesterone, which is even worse. It's harder on the body.
So what do the official people about bioidentical hormones say right now?
Can I suggest?
I know what they say, but you can say what you think they say.
Yeah. I think most of them would agree now, not everybody, but most of them would agree now that the WHI study is so flawed that we're not even going to look at it.
Correct.
They're going to say bioidentical estrogen is going to be a total protective, except
Correct.
if you were after the 10-year window, post-menopause,
60?
you're going to have no fault of anything, but probably lack of estrogen, you are going to have arterial plaque. If you do an oral estrogen with arterial plaque, there could be where it's going to start removing the arterial plaque, which is a great thing. You want it. But because you've already got it there and there's a lot when it starts to clean house, the metabolites of the oral estrogen could make that cause a clot or
Beautiful.
But transdermal estrogen or estrogen in a shot form does not give that risk at all.
We have to be careful saying that. So you are absolutely right.
Okay.
Up until the very end. And many doctors even agree with you on the last part.
Yeah.
The official, like American Menopause Society, says after the age of 60, or if you're a smoker, which gives, more risk of heart disease, stroke and all that, they do not want any woman to have oral estrogens, which we don't use oral estrogens anyway, but even oral bioidentical estrogens, because unless they have a scan to check their arteries first to make sure they're clear, if they're clear and they don't have any heart disease, they do give them oral estrogens because they're more protected for heart disease in the future.
Once you get on them and you've got no arterial plaque,
then you're very protected.
Then you can be on them till you're 120.
Yes.
It's just having arterial plaque first.
So what they say is, yes, I'll just finish the sentence and answer it. If you're 60 or over and you are going to have an oral estrogen, get some scans first. Many, like Dr. Kay Chandler, who we consult with, and she's just an incredible bioidentical specialist who's been treating women for over a decade. She does not put women over 60 on oral estrogen. She makes sure that it's a transdermal cream because that has been shown to be safer.
And let's just say, it's not that the oral estrogen is unsafe in itself.
No.
Actually, what it's doing is a good thing, cleaning the arteries. It's just not safe to have that going on.
Dan, you had your hand up.
May I use the restroom?
Yes. So, for that for real. That was hilarious.
And so where we're going from there is it's still more safe to get on bioidentical estrogen. Just if you're past that postmenopausal 10-year window, don't get on oral.
Well, yeah, I think we need to be careful what we say here on our platform. Like, it's safer. The research shows, according to, for heart disease prevention and all of that yes, it is powerfully safer. But there's always that caveat. If you're over 60 and perhaps your practitioner only uses oral estrogen, well, then I would be careful about doing that.
Yeah.
And
without scans.
Yes, without scans, I wouldn't do it personally.
No, same with me.
But I personally, after having looked at the research, am very okay with any woman over 60, this is my personal opinion, using a transdermal, either a patch or a cream. That has to come down to each individual's choice, though. You have to be okay with that. But the research...
The risk, this is my personal opinion, the risk, heart disease risk, and this is fact, is much greater doing nothing than choosing the safest route of bioidentical estrogen.
I personally agree with you.
I mean, just think, Pearl.
Yeah.
I mean, you're using bioidentical estrogen. Yeah. You're over you're over 60, and you haven't ever, got scans done. You're not going to do the oral. You're getting on the bioidentical transdermal. That risk of heart disease or having something go wrong, a clot or stroke, is down to like under 5%.
See, the American Menopause Society, they don't necessarily... They're wishy-washy about it.
But they're wishy-washy to begin with. They believed the WHI for years.
They did. And now they've come out saying, no, we don't go by that anymore. And they used to say, we're actually going to cut women off at 60. Now they're like, hold on, no. It used to be the shortest amount of hormones for the weakest amount of hormones for the shortest amount of time. Now they're saying, no. We have changed our minds. 2022, they changed. They said, no, we're going to keep women on it forever because all the risks come back once we take them off. So we're not going to take them off at 60. But if they want to start after 60, we're still a little concerned because these studies, they were still showing that synthetic progesterone gives rise to the issues because it was oral. And then they've looked at some studies with transdermal, and they say, well, we can't see the protection coming in, so we're still a bit worried. That's where they stand right now. I personally...
But there's no danger added.
No. Well,
That's the
no,
point.
there is danger added if it's oral, but they keep lumping that in.
I'm not talking about the oral.
I know.
I'm saying transdermal or like injections like I do, there is no data to show risk of that.
Yeah, I looked at all the data this morning, and I would agree with you.
Are we going to have a
See?
data fight?
See?
Yeah, no, I agree with her. I just want to be so careful with
guess
how
what
we
she's doing?
present.
She's fine, like no lawsuit presenting.
Yeah,
And I'm being a renegade
exactly.
and said, deep down in your heart, Pearl,
deep down
you
in my heart,
know.
like our mum, she got on hormones. What, she was 68, I believe, maybe 69.
there is
She's
more
83
risk of
now.
not going on it. I'm sorry, there is more risk of not
Yeah,
going
no,
on it.
but you know, as I said, we are founders of a company called KIAORA, and our hormone company that is yet to launch, but
Not
very
available
soon,
yet.
uses only transdermal. Because of this risk, well, first of all, we get better numbers and we get better levels with our
Transdermal injections.
mucosal
transdermal is on the skin.
So we use
Better than injections?
Well, no, injections, just most women don't want to do them. But you can get really good, robust levels with injections, but most women don't want to inject. So we have a whole new process that really has never been done before. Consulting with doctors and it's a mucosal application. So the cream goes into the mucosal area of the body, and the most absorbent area of a woman's body is inner labia. So there's an outer labia and inner labia, and that takes the hormones
Directly.
safely into the bloodstream without first pass through the liver and, digestion.
So
and
it's
all
a
of
gel
that.
or a cream
It's a cream.
situation.
And
When's it
all three
available?
hormones are in that, and it's so easy, and it's just once a day, and it's
One click,
we're
all three
done.
hormones.
One click? Are you going to have a patented applicator?
No, it's your finger.
Yeah.
No,
patented.
but the click.
Oh,
one
click. Yeah, one click.
Oh, the click. It
Yeah.
puts out the exact amount.
Exact amount. And
When's
it's
it
a
available?
very tiny amount. I mean, we're rolling out
Dates.
soft launches really soon.
Like this year?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
I know,
this
but
This fall?
because
But we chose not to use any oral
But- so
estrogen
then
because
we're not-
we didn't want to be
so-
cloudy.
But guess what? That means that we don't have any of that risk. I just want people to hear that.
So these creams are transdermal, so they don't have that same research risk of causing this arterial plaque problem. So that's why we
But I
do
have
it, but
to
not
say,
just for that reason.
They weren't the reason for the
No.
arterial plaque problem. The reason ultimately was
Yeah.
no estrogen.
Exactly.
That's why you got arterial plaque.
Yes, and lifestyle, of course, you
Yeah.
know. But there's other reasons why we don't use
I just
oral
wanted to
estrogen.
not blame estrogen because it wasn't the
I
founding
know. Yes,
reason.
it was just that estrogen was there at the scene of the crime, you know?
It's not there.
No, I know. Well, not there before.
Yeah.
But then someone has a problem and, they're taking oral estrogen. Let's blame that.
Yeah,
you
right,
know,
exactly.
so there's another reason we personally in our Cure company have not included oral bioidentical estrogen, and we're not against it. Some people use it very successfully, especially if they don't have arterial plaque or any
Yeah.
heart disease. They can get robust levels, usually not on 1 milligram, and that's the standard dose.
Right.
To get to those protective levels for the brain that studies have shown starts at about 100 of E2 estradiol, you need usually about 2 milligrams, and most practitioners don't go above 2.
Yeah.
Some women need 4,
Yeah.
and that's so rare.
Yeah.
So we didn't use it for that reason too, because it's hard to get higher levels, robust
Right.
protector levels. We didn't use it for another reason too. There's association, not causation. There's just some question marks about it raising another estrogen in your body called estrone.
Right.
Now, estrone raises when you go through menopause anyway, so it's going to go up.
It's a non-protective estrogen.
It doesn't do any heavy lifting.
Isn't it inflaming
Yes, and
in
there's
large amounts?
yes, and well, no, it's not necessary, but they're at the scene of the crime. It usually is high when women have breast cancer.
Yeah.
It is high when women have a lot of abdominal fat because estrone
Is in the fat
lives in the
layer.
fat cell. And so they think that that's actually what the body does when it loses our very robust estradiol hormone. Your body's like, I need estrogen. I need estrogen. How can I make estrogen? I'm going to make some more fat
Belly
cells on my
fat.
belly so I can
That's
make
the
more
thickening of the
estrogen.
middle too,
Yes, I really need estrogen. Let's put on some fat here and you'll make estrone. So estrone has association with belly fat and association with breast cancer, not causation. But for those two reasons, we were out.
That's right. Yeah.
But I do know personally women that use it very successfully and they don't have belly fat, but they started early.
Yeah, they did.
So
Our air conditioner's dumping water all over
our air conditioner is peeing.
it's really peeing.
I thought somebody just was peeing.
Yeah, it was like
somebody was just like needed to go.
So it was freaking Nate Nat.
I was turning around like,
Natty
what's
Nate.
going on?
Nate was really disgusted at our potty and he was just like, I'm going to pee
I'm
against
just
the wall.
gonna pee in the corner.
Oh my. No, so I hope that answers anonymous question.
Yeah.
Because coming out of that, what I took away from that is, that I'm not afraid of bioidentical estrogen at all. That's what.
Well, as I've said multiple times, you wouldn't dare take it from my hands.
From your cold dead hands.
I mean, oh my goodness. But I think the takeaway is that estrogen is our big protector.
Hey, you get it from Dr. K. Is she in Arkansas? I just saw.
Yeah, she's Surgeon General of Arkansas,
So
Dr. K.
How does she diagnose you from
Oh,
Arkansas?
she was the consultant and the founder of our hormonal medical team. So she has trained
she's
our
put her blessing.
doctors
She was there for all of the hours spent on the plan for the algorithm and how people are going to be treated. So it has her expertise and her wisdom.
She's
kissing the whole
supervising.
thing.
But she can't be there as the doc. You don't get Dr. K on the phone. No.
Yeah.
She's written all of her protocols into a
Yes.
computer program that takes all your information and works it out.
Okay, so before Christmas, potentially in the fall, we're going to see.
And right now, for those people listening, this is 2024. Because remember, we got people listening in the future right now.
That's true. They're
Right
in the
now, 6
future.
years from now, in
So
2030.
if you're 6 years from now, 2030, KIAORA's going strong. And you can just dial that thing up.
No, they don't even dial on a rotary phone, Serene. They go to the internet. She's
Well,
still
that's what I meant. You
she's like dial.
Isn't there when your computer goes whir, whir, whir?
Well, if you live out in the country and don't have good internet.
Yeah, I've always got that dialing circle.
The pinwheel of death.
But I think the other
put it into
takeaways,
Googs, and then you got the dial.
the other takeaways are, just know your stuff. If you're above 60 and you're thinking about replacing your hormones, then be a little leery of oral, but it might be perfect for you if you don't have any heart disease.
But be leery, and this is not any strong statement, because not everybody has to, like Pearl said, like we said before, but I would be most leery of not being involved.
Yes. Now, some people,
any kind of
if they
restoration
have current
Identical.
or recent, have had a current or recent vein issue, what is it called? Thrombosis.
Yeah.
Certain vein diseases, but not all. Current or recent
varicose
heart attack,
vein.
things like that. Most practitioners will not accept you anyway. Current or recent breast cancer or uterine cancer, you will not be accepted. So there are some people that cannot at this time do bioidentical hormone therapy. If that were me, I still would use a vaginal localized form of estrogen to keep things down there plump and
Healthy.
oxygenated and healthy, because as women age and they lose their estrogen, their vaginas shrivel up. They lose blood flow, they lose oxygen, they lose nutrients, and it's really sad. It can cause an uptick in UTIs and things like that. And it can even
painful
cause
intercourse.
Yes, pain. So I would do that, which doesn't raise systemic hormones. So most practitioners think it's completely
I would
safe.
use a bioidentical estriol and a DHEA on my skin of my face.
I definitely would use it on my face. Once again, it's localized. It doesn't change.
Won't go into your serum, but it will actually
Your
help
serum.
with the maintenance of the collagen and the.
And then the other
firmness of
things
your
I would
face.
do, which I do anyway, but I would seriously do them. I would do them with even a more serious approach, would be to lift heavy things. If I cannot take my hormones,
And to be nerdy on protein.
but why lifting heavy things? Because you see, estrogen and progesterone, to an extent testosterone too, when you replace these hormones, tell your bones that you still need minerals in them. Like you are worthy to keep going.
And if you take away those natural signals,
Yeah.
then you have to put stress on your bones.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about pounding the pavement. I'm talking about weight on those bones to say, hey, you need to keep minerals in here because you're going to be carrying weight. You're going to be lifting heavy. So you're telling them still that they need to to be strong within
That's
you.
the new signal. So the other signal that you had all your life was
it's
your
gone.
hormones. Okay, I'm going to remineralize your bones. I've got plenty of hormones. That's gone. And
Yes.
so the new signal would be lifting heavy things where your brain tells your body, okay, you deserve some minerals. And so that's really important. And then the protein thing, the protein.
And also you're putting that muscle on the body that is going to be dense and it's going to weigh something. Because what happens
Yeah.
with some women is they can get the muscle and the sarcopenia happens and there's less of that on the bones weighing down. You get a very fragile woman who the osteoporosis is so high in that, you know, the woman that, you know, there's inflammation that happens when we're heavy, when we're
Yeah.
older, but then there's that danger when we're older and we've got that more
skinny fat thing.
skinny fat going on. And oh my goodness, there's nothing signaling.
You know what
the
happens to
bones.
men too?
There's no weight of muscle on those bones saying remineralize.
Men can lose bone minerals as they age too because their testosterone lowers, but also their muscle mass lowers. And like you said, Serene, so with muscle, you know, people say, well, muscle weighs more than fat. I mean, no, it doesn't, but it takes up, because it's denser, it takes up a small amount of room. So in a way it does the same amount of muscle here, same amount of
Comparatively.
fat.
Comparatively.
The muscle is weighing more because
Yeah.
It
it's
is.
denser.
Yes.
And so if you have muscle as you get older, like Serene's saying, it's weighing more and telling those bones you deserve minerals.
Yeah.
Once again, whereas
another
fat, you
signal.
might have fat around your body, but it's not enough
Have you
to
seen
be
those
the signal.
the older men and they've got like the bigger middles, the beer pot
But they're
look?
still skinny everywhere
No, they're
else.
little bird arms and legs.
Mm-hmm.
The muscles have all gone. They're not signaling. You know, they're not giving the signals to keep those bones.
That's why it's important for men as well as women to keep leg day in, right?
Keep leg day. Hey, you know what doesn't replace leg day, but it stretches out the amount of leg days maybe per month. For me,
What?
is bike riding.
Oh.
Now, I don't do cycling, those really fast cycles where
That's good though, Dan, but it's not going to be good for these ladies
you're...
as much as a leg day.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, bike riding doesn't hit those glutes very hard. They hit like
But it's
knees
not.
and...
But it's more lactic acid burn.
Okay.
It's not building them.
It's not
Yeah.
building bone mineral density in the muscle because it's not heavy. What it is serious work.
Yeah.
And your muscles will be
Great
strong.
cardiovascular.
But
But
you
it's
won't
not
be
making them
building
bigger.
muscle here. You'll be
Okay.
strengthening muscle because the way you build muscle.
And it's not necessarily in
Yeah.
the strength category either,
Yeah.
because in the strength category and the hypertrophy category, they're different. The cycling is more aerobic. And it can be anaerobic if you do sprints in it, but it's not actually doing what lifting is doing in a hypertrophic range or in a strength. The strength range is actually heavier than the hypertrophic.
You think
it's like 8 and under reps, with the hypertrophic is between like
but both of
10
them do
and
add
15.
muscle to your body if you work them right.
Yes,
Yeah.
both of those do.
Okay, good.
Do you think
But-
if you like, because we have you know what a beach cruiser bike is? It's
Yeah, they've got the thicker tire.
Yeah, a little bit fatter.
I have to go to the restroom, guys. I gotta go pee.
What is it with you two?
No, but I want to talk
It's
about this
morning.
great subject.
You
You're
tell
on to my
me.
favorite subject now.
I know.
Let me pee. It's the coffee.
So, so a beach cruiser has the wider handlebars, and some of them just have one setting for pedaling, and so they tend to be more difficult than something a triathlete would ride, where he can put it in that first gear
Okay.
and just speed pedal up the hill and not work any
Oh,
muscle.
so it is a bit different.
Yeah, it's a weight. I feel like I'm lifting weights.
Oh, well, it probably is more like that then because is it almost like you've got partial brake on and you're having to real
Exactly.
push? Well,
I'll
we
purposely set it on the
Yeah.
harder gear. And
Well, that
push
is
hard.
pushing a weight, really. It's like a leg press in a way.
It is.
Yeah.
Except
so,
you're cruising around the town, which
Yeah,
is
having
super fun.
fun.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just think it's a fun way. I mean, like I'm saying, it doesn't replace squats.
Yeah.
Because I'll do that. I'll
Right,
cycle,
it's
and
not
I'm like, oh,
it's not gluting.
it doesn't hit those glutes.
Yeah.
And not that I can sense.
Yeah.
And so while it doesn't replace, it does kind of like, I feel like for my goals, which is to
Yeah.
just get a little bit of a meatier
Yeah.
leg look,
A quad, yeah.
it happens.
Yeah.
It does it. I see thicker, more muscular, vascular
For sure.
looking legs.
Serene, I want your little take on this, and I think Danny's right in the fact that it's not replacing glute day or anything like that, but he's got a special bike where you can put it onto settings where it's almost like a leg press. You have to push.
It's really hard to
this
pedal.
weight.
I don't choose. I'm
Yeah.
not going on a flat. I'm going uphills on
and
hard
I think that's
setting.
great, and I think that's going to be more like interval. Give you some.
No,
great
it's real
anaerobic
slow
hit.
too. It's like
I know,
pushing.
but it's still
Yeah.
not strength or hypertrophic.
No, it can't replace squats, and I know that because
you can't keep squats up for more than
Yeah.
higher rep
Yeah.
range 20 max, like if you're actually building
true.
any kind of muscle.
Crazy
Otherwise
max.
you're just doing air squats over and over and over, and that's a lot of resistance, your whole body, and you can do that. That's pretty still slow.
But you gotta say that's a fun, wonderful thing to do with
I'm
your
so
body
happy
and
for him.
healthy.
It's going to keep
healthy.
it's conditioning, and he wants to have that more Spanish soccer look. He's not going for this huge incredible Hulk.
Spanish soccer. It's
She's
pretty
Spanish
good.
right.
soccer's
Spanish
old
soccer.
money. It's going to be great for him.
Old money.
But women who want to
Yeah.
actually
Post-meno
signal
woman.
bone and want to actually
yeah.
stop the freight train of sarcopenia, I would say if you've only got certain days to exercise, don't waste it.
Oh, that's a good point. That's
Yeah.
a good point.
Because they don't want to look like a soccer Spanish old money person. Like they've got other things to worry about.
I want my legs to fill my pant.
Fill the
then
white
you need
pant.
to go back to the weight room.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I noticed even after riding, because I ride like every day after work now, just like quick bike ride. Typically it's golden hour. So
That's
it's just
fun though.
a vibe.
And great cardio.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love
But
that.
when I get back to the squats,
Yeah.
it's like I haven't done anything. Like I'm starting over. I can tell it's not replacing squat.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
stronger in squats. I'm starting over from where I left off in squats, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I love lifting. And I tell you why I love it.
It's too good.
Because you've never necessarily arrived. Like you could do
Yep.
that bike, I suppose, a different intervals on it, a different stuff, whatever.
Yep.
But that's like, and I love the slow changes that can be made, not just in the body, but in your strength levels. Because I remember when I began,
Yeah.
and where I am now, it was such a slow plod. I never saw it like, oh, I'm suddenly stronger. But I look back
Yeah.
to what I could lift there and what I can lift now, and I'm like, what a beautiful, slow change. But change has come and strength has come, and it was just such a plodding along, 3 times a week. Just keep the plodding and keep the plodding. And there's change. Like
Yeah.
you're in a different place. And I don't think that anything like more of a cardiovascular type of exercise can do those massive changes. It can do conditioning and fitness, but it can't do those
Yeah.
strength changes.
You know how they say
so
that?
exciting.
So in addiction counseling to substance abuse, they say that the substance is not only is it physically addictive, but it's also maybe this is the wrong phrase, but it describes it well in my opinion. It's relationally addictive in the sense.
What is this again?
Substance abuse, alcohol,
Substance,
drugs.
okay.
Right.
They become a friend you can depend on.
Okay. Makes
Okay,
sense.
you go back to this drug, you know exactly the
Yeah.
conversations you have, how he or she, depending on how you relate to the drug, behaves. It gives you the same feeling, and the alcohol, let's just say alcohol, becomes a trusted confidant, a friend that always delivers. It's this psychology of a consistent, dependable thing that gives you what you're expecting every single time. This is why.
Except when you die.
Except when you die, it gives you what you don't want. For some people, it's different. But this is how franchises work. The menu stays the same
Yeah.
20 years later.
Starbucks.
It's not all about reinventing, giving us new products. It's about maintaining consistency, which breeds addiction. We know,
Yes.
I don't want to risk on a new hamburger place. I know what that menu has on it. I'm going to go get my thing on that menu. So the weights. I chose the colored weights. So black, the 10-pound is black,
Yeah.
and they're big. So they're
Feels
they're
better,
not
eh?
steel. They're
Oh,
made of
I love
like
the
that
ones
rubber.
that are big because
Me too.
Yeah,
if you do
man.
the silver ones that are really compact and you go to 25 and it looks pathetic.
They look small.
I hope all those people on the reels have those big and large inflated ones that will make me feel better.
Yes.
Like, because I used to think, how are they pulling them
Right.
off?
They're not as
Like
heavy
worship,
as they look.
like how can they lift that? They're these little things. But maybe
So
it was
the-
the inflated ones.
Yeah, so the black are 10 pounds, the green are 25 pounds each, and the blue
And
are
then they look Olympic, right?
they're Olympic.
Yeah.
The blue are 45 pounds. And I so relate to it's become like a drug. in that, you know, I was, when I first started doing incline benches, you know, I would,
Which are harder than the regular benches for me.
Yeah, they are. They get into the shoulders.
Yeah.
And, you know, I started on like the smaller weights, and it was like elbow pain. And I was like, am I doing this right? And should I stop? All this psychology. And, you know, I just kept going. You know, I didn't go crazy. If I felt joint pain, I would slow down. Okay, 4 reps is enough. I've got the rest of my life, and I'm not trying to get ripped in 2 months, right? But to be able to then I'm on 12 and I'm fine. And to be able to go, I think it's time. And you put those green on and now you're pushing, and it's saying that a little bit of elbow pain. But now as you begin to add weight and you're achieving new milestones, and it's not all about like, behold, at how much I can lift. The adding weight represents all of what you're talking about, where how it affects your brain, how it protects from osteoporosis, and so to be able to be in your own home gym, like I think everybody needs to get a squat, or like a cage, you know, like you can get them for like $400. I paid $400 for this 4-post cage with everything. And what it does outside of just like, I can lift heavier weight, something about your body, you know, the body is, the ancients likened it to a temple, you know?
Well, Jesus did, right?
You know, Jesus. Okay. So your body is this temple. I personally believe that this temple is a physics phenomena existing in supernatural space.
I do too.
And you're saying this addiction has happened to you now in your home gym because you can go in there and feel the same hit of strength. Is that what I'm trying to...
He could rely on this
Yeah.
dopamine of...
This stimulus gives me the same result.
The weights have become a dependable, consistent friend. I know that those first 4 pushes I do a warm-up set because I'm trying to do heavier weights.
Yeah.
So I'll just do 4 to warm up the joints and everything. And it's just a dependable, reliable friend that I look forward to seeing. I know it's going to be painful. It's going to be a challenge, but it's just like...
It's going to give you that endorphin rush every time.
Every time. And it's like, the weights represent what I want to step up to in life.
Yeah, I agree, but I do need to say I have a rack. And I experience the same thing that you've experienced without the rack. I don't use my rack. My sons come over and use it, but I have dumbbells, and I've gone up in little increments. You know, I went up from a 10 to a 12 to a 15. You know, just slowly. I've been lifting for 1.5, almost 2 years, and I was pathetic when I started.
Yeah, pathetic.
Oh my!
I was pathetic.
Everyone's
Oh
pathetic.
my!
Everyone.
But I experienced it. I don't think all women have to go get a rack. You know, you can experience these same benefits with jolly dumbbells or kettlebells and experience that. I get to get the heavier weight now.
I'm just trying to say you're going to get there.
I'm never saying never.
Yeah.
I probably will, but you know what? What Danny said is so true in my case. I have the rest of my life. So, you know, my first 53 years, I look at the 3 years since 50 even, and I've come into greater health strides than I ever have in my life. My next 10, my next 20, I've got so long to hone this craft.
Yeah. So fantastic.
I'm not going to push myself too fast. I'm going to give myself grace and all the time it takes.
Yeah, because...
And not pushing that and extending that into like, 3 times a week to 2 times a week to once a week to once every 3
I don't
weeks.
want my gains to go. I've worked too hard. I'm not going to do that.
But you know how we said this is a slow plot and this is actually incredible change, and it's not necessarily overnight, but it's wonderful, and that's what we love about it. Because like we said, you know, with cardiovascular exercises, you get to a certain level of conditioning. There's no changes after that because it actually does not grow muscle.
Yeah, it's infinite.
Or stop sarcopenia. So anyway, but there is some immediate change that I notice. And every time my husband walks out of the gym, all of a sudden he's 3 inches taller and his waist has gone down 2 sizes immediately.
Because of what he's...
nothing to do. And he walks out the gym and I'm like, oh my goodness, you're strutting around like one of those Russian, you got your Russian posture on. And that means I really like the way.
Because he had to do good posture with
He's like,
stuff.
I've been securing for the last hour. So, you know, I notice when I walk out of the gym, for the next, 5 hours post, I walk with this strength and this posture and this like my abs are just engaged, and it's like it stays with you for a while.
You should work out too if you can, even if you don't have a full-on home gym, but you have a workout corner, which is what I mostly had. Put some mirrors there because you do want to look at your form. I have put mirrors in my garage, which I've put to a gym, and I've realized that I used to do things like this. And now I'm like holding it because I see myself as like my shoulders around it. Nope, put them back.
Can I say one thing too?
Yeah.
Now, I have seen very, very fit. I'm not dashing or bashing cardio. I think it's great for conditioning, and I actually prefer actual,
plyometrics.
Conditioning that's not the aerobic, that's anaerobic myself. But I'm not I actually like cardio just for relaxing in life. Walking, swimming, whatever. That's just fun for me. It's not necessarily training. But I've seen very fit cardio people that are fit with their round shoulders, fit with their neck poking forward, fit with their little body that's pushing out a little tummy because they exercise for a long period of time in this bad posture. But with weightlifting, you're going to injure yourself if you're in bad posture. So you have to learn pretty quick as
so
especially
true.
as you start trying to put on more weight in the dumbbell on the bar. You have to learn good posture to survive in this sport.
Form is
so
key. Yeah.
You become fit with excellent form, and that creates a sleek posture. And that's what I love about it.
Yo, let me just get a tiny bit weird. You can research all this. This is mainstream science, but your body is an electromagnetic instrument that puts out vibrations. Okay, this is real. I would throw out there that not only are your emotions not going to be right if you're not tuning this body and working this to be in its healthy state, in its healthy, strong state, but I would suggest that you won't fully see a lot of things happen in your life that you've been wanting to see outside of even your health when you're not tuning your body.
I agree.
Totally
Take care of like the inner circle first, right? Like we always want this to happen way over there or that. It's like we're living here. Let's do the right things here. And then these things start. It's a law of nature.
My parenting and leadership with my children is completely different since I started working out. Now I'm a substantial vessel worthy to lead and give very clear direction. And when before it's like, I don't know, what is good parenting?
But inner strength too, I think follows outer strength follows inner strength. Hopefully, I've seen some really wonderful people that are just such warriors on the inside that die early because they're overweight. And so, but I do feel like sometimes this outer strength, not in all cases, but it does inspire if you think the right way, that inner strength. Because, I get in the gym and I push, okay? And if not for using mental fortitude with this, external thing that I'm doing with the weights, I would give up after 2 reps because you have to do mind games. I do special words in my head. I count so many reps and then I stop counting because the number's annoying me, and then I have to just say fire every time. And then I go deep massage every rep because I'm like imagining it's a deep massage through all my muscle tissue. But I have certain things. Yep. And then it happened to me next. I was wanting to worry one day. Like it kept on being like this fly that would come on me. Like, this dark, like a gnat. Worry. One
of Nate's
And then
gnats.
I felt like I had this thought, get into your weightlifting mode, Serene. You push through. As much as you push physically, you push in your inner man. You push for peace. You push for this. You're not, sometimes we just give up in our inner emotions and everything. And we're just like, oh, I feel like worrying. I'm going to worry. But you feel like quitting in that gym when you weightlift. You feel like quitting sometimes rep 2. But do you quit? Oh no, you start doing the mental games and that mental strength. And so the weightlifting has taught me a lot in my inner man. It's taught me to get grit and to stand when I feel like falling.
And you can do one more rep.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like in your relationship with your husband. No, you can do one more rep. It's not time to pout.
But have you learned that in the gym? Have you learned that strength that you have, that, oh my goodness, I can give so much more than I thought I could give.
Yes.
I can stand so much more longer than I thought,
Well, my son will come and spot me too. I love getting to that point where I'm just, you get halfway to that push and your muscle is like, you're done. And then my son will just take his finger and tap the bottom of the bar. And I'm like, I can do it. Like just his presence, you know, and it is spotty. You know, there is a physical thing there, but there is a mental, like, yesterday I got to my last rep and I remember I was like wagging my head back and forth as I was like trying to find a muscle to get it up, you know, and it was just at the end of that, you just stand up and you just become the dragon, you know, you're just like, and that person walks into your life rather than the person that's like, God forbid I experience what it's like to hit muscle failure.
Yeah.
You know, I was so terrified. I don't want to
Muscle failure is terrifying.
It's terrifying.
Like when it says on my program, sometimes I follow a program and it says AMRAP, as many reps as possible. Oh, I used to get mad. Like, don't say as many reps as possible, because to mentally get to that, allow yourself to get where you cannot have one more rep in. That's a hard place to go into the mind, because you have to do a lot of games before you put that.
But now we are 58 minutes in, and
we're nerding out.
You guys are
like,
nerding.
I'm down. The hormones are like,
yeah, we finished Anonymous'
I've just
question.
begun. Like,
yeah, I know. We're just getting fired up, man.
We're good, but yeah, it's a good one.
We love you.